Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Christmas Eve service, and thank you for joining us. I am the Reverend William Levwood, affectionately known as Rev Lev. My pronouns are he and him, and I have the great good fortune of being the minister here at Accotink Unitarian Universalist Church.
I'm Michelle Anderson. I use the pronouns she and her, and I am delighted to be your Director of Spiritual Development for Children and Youth.
I am Nancy Melito, and I am pleased to be your worship associate this evening. My pronouns are she and her. Whether you're a longtime member, or a newcomer, or something in between, or a visitor, we're delighted that you decided to join us this Christmas Eve. We hope you'll come back and keep coming back, that you join us on the journey. You are welcome here. You are loved. Just as Joseph and Mary found sanctuary on their journey, may you find a home for hope here with us. Now, a reminder, please do not use your craft bags yet. Please do not use your candles yet. And thank you.
So our chalice lighting words are adapted from Linda Hart. So as Nancy lights the chalice, I'll share them with you. The Christmas travelers journeyed a long way. Leaning heavily on Joseph's arm, Mary picked her way along the path. Others on the road told them where they might find fresh water to drink, where they might find a place of shelter and calm, where they could bed down for the night. Here we come also to find a moment of rest along our journey. No matter where you are going on your journey, no matter if it is your choice to go or if you left by far away edict, no matter if you carry a burden or the deepest of joys, no matter how weary or thirsty you may be, pause here. Take a quiet breath. Rest in peacefulness. Be renewed and restored.
Oh, come, you dayspring, come and cheer our spirits by your presence here, and dawn in every broken soul a vision that can see the whole. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as light to dwell.
How Good It Is to Center Down by Howard Thurman. How good it is to center down, to sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound with clashing, with noisy silences, while something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment and the resting lull. With full intensity we seek, ere thicket passes, a fresh sense of order in our living, a direction, a strong, sure purpose that will structure our confusion and bring meaning in our chaos. We look at ourselves in this waiting moment, the kinds of people we are. The questions persist. What are we doing with our lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is the end of our doings? Where are we trying to go? Where do we put the emphasis, and where are our values focused? For what end do we make sacrifices? Where is my treasure? And what do I love most in life? What do I hate most in life? And to what am I true? Over and over, the questions beat upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind, a deeper note which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily round with the peace of the eternal in our step. How good it is to center down.
Christmas in the Stable by Astrid Lindgren and Harold Weiberg. There was a child sitting on her mother's knee who wanted to hear about Christmas. So her mother told her about Christmas in the stable. There was a Christmas long ago and far away, she said. But the child did not know about long ago and far away. She only knew their own farm and a few yesterdays. And so as her mother spoke, the child saw everything as if it were happening in their own stable. Perhaps even now. There was an evening long ago, the mother said, and a man and a woman were wandering along the road in the darkness. The child nodded, picturing the road that went beside their farm. They had walked a long way and were tired. Now they wanted to sleep, but they did not know where to go. In all the farmhouses, the lights were out. Everyone was asleep and did not care about those who wandered on the roads. It was dark and cold. There were not even any stars to light the sky. But by the road, there was a little stable. The man opened the door slightly and spread the light of his lantern. The mother paused and stroked the child's hair. Perhaps there were animals in there, she said. Do you think so? The child knew much about stables. Yes, she agreed, there were animals in there. But they were already asleep, the mother said. When they heard someone come through the door, they woke up and saw the two wanderers standing in the light from the lantern. But why they had come to the stable in the evening, the animals did not know. But perhaps they could understand how cold and tired and hungry the people were. Perhaps the horse understood when the woman put her cold fingers under his mane to find the warmth there. Perhaps the cow understood when the woman milked her and drank her warm milk. Perhaps the sheep understood too, for when the women lay down in the straw to sleep, they clustered around to give warmth. So the night fell silently over the stable and all those who were in there. And when the night was darkest and most still, there was all at once a cry in the stable. It was the first cry of a newborn baby. At the same moment, all the stars of the night sky came into the sky. One was bigger and brighter than the others. It took its place right over the stable and shone with a beautiful, clear light.
Lord Jesus, I ask thee to stay close by me forever and love me, I pray. Bless all the dear children in thy tender care, and take us to heaven to live with thee.
Now there were shepherds out that night. They were going to fetch some sheep who were still staying in the fields, though winter had come. And the shepherds saw the star rise over the stable. They saw the whole sky lighted. Why is a star burning over our stable? The shepherds asked each other. Come, let us go and see what has happened. Along snowy paths, they hurried home with their sheep and lambs. In the stable, they found a newborn child lying in his mother's arms. The star is shining because of the child, the shepherds whispered. Never before was there a child born in our stable. Now the child needed sleep, but there was neither cradle nor bed. Only a crib was there with hay in it for the horse to eat. The mother made a soft, hollow place in the hay and laid her child down. The horse stood still, his eyes gentle as he watched. So the night passed. The child slept in the crib. The animals and shepherds stood silently around. Everything was quiet. Over the stable, the Christmas star kept shining, for it was on a Christmas night that this had all happened. A Christmas night long ago and far away. The very first one. The child looked up at her mother and smiled. She did not know about long ago and far away, but now she knew about Christmas.
God's more child and mother, weave the magic spell, touching hearts with wonder, words can never tell. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where our hearts are open
invite you to imagine, to bring to mind that cold, bleak midwinter night, the earth as hard as iron, water frozen like a stone. I want you to bring that to mind and ask yourself, where in your life do you feel that kind of harsh, cold, that hard ground? Perhaps it's in moments of loneliness. Perhaps it's something you lack or an anxiety that you have that makes it hard to approach something you need to approach in your life. Perhaps it's your compassionate awareness of those who hunger or those who don't have shelter. Bring to mind, bring even into your body that sense of that harsh, cold night and the journey that each of us makes through those challenging, cold, dark nights. And then bring to mind that stable with the warm milk from the cow, with the sheep nuzzling up to keep child and mother warm. Bring to mind those things in your life that are refuges, that are sanctuaries, that are places where you can find that midwinter warmth. Maybe in a loving family or a chosen family, maybe in a church community like this one, maybe the friends you've made through some hobby that you have, or just a long journey that you've known for years and years and years, or those friends you've just made. Bring to mind that warmth and that abundant love, that lack of want or need of any kind. And then I invite you to send a wish, a prayer, that all who travel in the dark night throughout the year, not only at Christmas, may find that midwinter warmth of abundant love and connection, that embrace of community and friendship and care. That the magic spell the mother and child weaves is woven once again, and that hearts are open, giving birth to love.
How silently the wonder is made known, when God imparts to human hearts the gift that is our own. No ear may hear that coming, but in this world we din, when souls are truly humble, the dear babe rest within.
We have another story. This is by Megan McKenna. Once upon a time, there was a wise abbot of a monastery who was the friend of an equally wise rabbi. This was in the old country, long ago, when times were always hard, but just then, they were even worse. The abbot's community was dwindling, and the faith life of his monks was fearful, weak, and anxious. He went to his friend and wept. His friend, the rabbi, comforted him and said, "There is something you need to know, my brother. We have long known in the Jewish community that the Messiah is one of you." "What?" exclaimed the abbot. "The Messiah is one of us? How can this be?" But the rabbi insisted that it was so, and the abbot went back to the monastery wondering and praying, comforted and excited. Once he was back in the monastery, he would pass by a monk and wonder, is he the one? Sitting in the chapel, praying, he would hear a voice and look intently at a face and wonder, is he the one? The abbot had always been kind, but now began to treat all his brothers with profound kindness and awe, ever deeper respect, even reverence. Soon everyone noticed, and one of the other brothers came to him and asked him what had happened to transform him in this way. And after some coaxing, the abbot told him what the rabbi had said. And soon the other monk was looking at his brothers differently, with deeper respect and wondering. Word spread quickly within the monastery, the Messiah is one of us. The monastery was suddenly full of life, worship, love, and grace. The prayer life was rich and passionate, devoted. The services were alive and vibrant. Soon enough, the surrounding villagers came. They started showing up for the worship services, listening and watching intently, and many of them even joined the community of monks. And after their novitiate, when they took their vows, they were told the mystery, the truth that their life was based upon, the source of their strength, the richness of their life together. The Messiah is one of us. The monastery grew and expanded into house after house, and the monks grew in wisdom and grace before each other and in the eyes of God. And they say still that today, if you stumble across this place where there is life and hope, kindness and graciousness, it's because the secret remains the same. The Messiah is one of us. So as you make those ornaments, I want you to remember that love is at the center. We say that about Unitarian Universalism. Love is at the center. That's the Messiah. That's what holds a community together, that power of love. And love has been making this community a welcoming and inclusive spiritual home. This community where we care for each other, this community where we grow together, this community where we show up for justice. For those of you who are members, you might recognize that's our mission statement that I just shared with you. The love at the center is the meal pack that we do for food insecure children. It's our legislative advocacy. It's going to protests. It's the hypothermia shelter we'll host in January for the unhoused. It's the special collection that we'll have for Food Justice DMV later tonight. Love is how we live out our shared UU values, those ones that you're making with your ornaments right now. When these values were introduced, some people said, love is too vague. What do we mean when we say love? And it's true, there aren't many words in our new shared covenant to describe love, but I think each of those values is part of the definition of love. That each of them is a different way of expressing love. Love is justice. Love dismantles oppressive systems. Love is equity that declares that every person deserves to flourish with dignity. Love is transformation that keeps us learning and growing together. Love is the pluralism that calls us to respond to our commonalities and our differences with love, with respect, with curiosity. Love is the interdependence that weaves us all together here in this community and in the larger community and with the web of life of the very earth we call our home. And love is the generosity that calls us to share our resources, our presence, and our Unitarian Universalist faith with others. Just as the abbot and the monks did, we want to live our faith so much that if people show up here, it will feel like that midwinter warmth. Often people, when they come looking for a congregational community, they are walking through a dark, cold night, and they need that warmth that love brings. And I hope that we will continue to look at the newcomers and those who've been here for years and see each person as if that person might be the Messiah. Because it's actually that way of looking at the world, that way of being together, that love that lives between people, that is the true Messiah. That's what we're celebrating being born at Christmas. Every year when designing this Christmas Eve service, I always think maybe I won't close the service with Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman's The Work of Christmas as the final reading. And every year is just the perfect thing to close the service with. But this year we will have to close it with something else because we just had the choir sing it for us. Now we've had a child born in a stable, and we've talked about a rabbi and some Christian monks at a monastery. But this is a UU church, so I'm also going to talk about the Quran on Christmas Eve. Because those words that begin Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman's The Work of Christmas, those introductory words remind me of how many of the verses of the Quran begin. Before a revelation happens, there's these ritual words in the surahs of the Quran that let you know that we're in a different time, in a special sacred space. So here they are from Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, then the work of Christmas begins. And I want to add another image. I want to add when the candles in the dark burn bright. Our Director of Spiritual Development for Children and Youth, Michelle Anderson, shared with me recently that when youth are asked to describe spirituality, the most common answer is that spirituality is like lighting candles in the dark. Now, in the time of the birth of Jesus, there was a tyrant named Herod who wanted to kill all the babies because he feared a prophecy about a coming Messiah who would take away his power. Now, we just shared how we're the Messiah. So if we're the Messiah, all of us together, our love in action is a threat to any tyrants in the world who want to keep power for themselves. This is what we're called to be. We're called to be that love in action. This is the work of Christmas. To be candles in the dark for each other. And when we do that for each other, the work of Christmas expands like light radiating out into the world. And then we can also feed the hungry. We can also welcome the stranger. We can even rebuild nations and bring peace between people. I know that last one seems the most unlikely in these polarized times. But it is possible, and it starts here. It starts with remembering to treat every single person as if they might be the Messiah, because that embodiment of love is what saves. That embodiment of love is what will save the world. That embodiment of love is what has been saving the world and keeps saving the world again and again and again in each and every moment. This is the magic spell that the mother and child weave, opening hearts to give birth to love again and again. When the candles in the dark burn bright, then the work of Christmas begins. So I want to invite you to rise, and we're going to turn off the lights, and we're going to light some candles to ritualize being the candles in the dark. So as we go around, and in just a moment after Michelle takes the light, we'll start you off, and then you'll share the light around the congregation. So remember, don't give the light, take the light. And as the light of the candle is journeying through the congregation, I invite you to look around and see all the messiahs among you. See how you can be candles of light for each other. I was talking with some Unitarian Universalist ministerial colleagues just the other day. And one of the things I'm struck by with this image of the candle in the dark as an image of spirituality is the contrast between the dark and the light. That's what makes that image so powerful, is that the candle shows up better when there is dark. The darkness feels more like a hug when there is the light. So I was talking with these colleagues about just what a hard time it is to be ministers, to be humans. And I was reminded of the fact that in Buddhism, there's this idea that there's 5 realms, 2 hell realms and 2 heavenly realms, and in the middle, the human realm. But we want to be, in the Buddhist teaching, in the human realm, because in the hell realm, there's too much fear and lack and want and violence and greed to be able to find awakening. And in the heavenly realms, there's too much ease and pleasure and abundance to actually live a life of love and compassion and to be the candle in the darkness. So what I'm saying to you is that we're lucky in a way to be in this difficult time because there's just the right amount of challenge to cause us to not mess around with our lives, but to really center ourselves in love and make putting love at the center and embodying love for each other the focus of our lives.
Silent night, holy night, child of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
So our closing reading is from Rebecca Parker, slightly adapted.
Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world.
The mind's power,
The strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart,
the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting.
any of these can serve to feed the hungry,
Bind up the wounds, welcome the stranger,
praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love.
any of these can draw down the prison door,
Hoard bread, abandon the poor,
obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love.
You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts?
Choose to bless the world.
The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude.
To search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation.
More, the choice will draw you into community.
The endeavor shared, the heritage passed on.
The companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith,
The life of ritual and praise.
the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth.
The chorus of life welcoming you.
None of us alone can save the world.
Together, that is another possibility waiting.